Hey everybody, welcome to Frame Trap. Feels good to be back. I am your host as always, Brad Ellis, joined by my co-host, Michael Refreshed Damiani, maybe.
Refreshed.
Maybe.
All the hours in the depths.
Yeah,
Hyrule.
the depths and Hyrule.
Just lost down there.
And rating, you've been rating a lot.
Yeah,
right?
14. Dude, there's one more light route. I have one more light route to find in the depths.
Oh, man.
But it's like... not sure, like it's not an easily spottable spot where it's like the map's like kind of not filled in. I was like, and they're like, oh, go manually. I'm like, oh my god, I have to manually check like against a guide map. I was like, all right, Zelda. It was fun times.
And our guest this episode is Isla Hank.
Hi.
Isla, congratulations. You are engaged now.
Thank you. Yeah.
Pulled the trigger.
Yep. We did a classic girl simultaneous double proposal.
Is that okay? It was double time? Mm-hmm. Wait, how did that work though? Did you guys both know at the same time? Like
we'd picked out we'd bought the rings and we've been talking about it forever. And like I've known how I would propose for years, and she was like, I'm pretty sure I know how you'll do it because I would do it the same way. So she did have the same plan as I did.
Got it.
So while we were there, I did it, and then she did it.
Oh, there you go.
And then I had planned on some friends surprising us there too.
Compatible.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Right now, an insane time for video games. Insane.
It's too much, frankly.
Swamped right now. I'm playing so much stuff. We're all very busy with stuff, and we got Key 3 Summer Game Fest coming up.
Sucking
like
5
days away from when we're shooting this.
Out of our lives.
So that'll be insane, but good fun. Let's talk about the first game. This game, long time coming. It's Diablo IV from Blizzard Entertainment. Finally, Blizzard needs a win. So far, this seems good. I have no idea how it'll turn out as we go further and the timeline progresses on the series. Mm-hmm. But I've been playing some of it. Isla, you've been playing quite a bit of it.
Yes.
From what I understand, a lot of it.
Yeah.
And you played a lot of the beta, actually, too.
Yeah, I played both beta weekends. I didn't do Server Slam because I was like, I don't need to play Act 1 a third time.
I think I beat Act 1 like twice.
Yeah, me too. Now, in the real game I just beat Act 2.
Okay.
I'm a level 39 or 38 rogue.
Nice.
Something like that. I'm really liking it.
Yeah, tell me about, like, I don't know, I guess we can start with your history with Diablo, because I know you like 3 a lot.
I've played them all,
Let's get some of that context going right now.
I got in on the ground floor. I played 1 when it came out with my dad.
Oh.
And then I played a lot of 2. Also, my dad was also playing it. But, like, we would LAN party and stuff at my house, and I just played an insane amount of 2.
Yeah, what year was that? Like 2001, 2000?
Was it 99? I don't remember. Somewhere in there.
Oh, okay.
Might have been a little earlier.
Because I just remember it
was
was pre-Warcraft. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, World of Warcraft. That's like how I remember. That's about it.
And I remember when the Lord of Destruction
the expansion
came out, I played the Assassin or whatever, which I really liked. And then 3 I was really disappointed by when it came out. I played it on PC and then on PlayStation, but then they went back to the drawing board and fixed it, and then I fell in love with it, and I devoured that. I'm like Paragon level 700 or some madness in that thing. And so far I'm really liking 4. I think that it feels like a really good balance between exactly what I wanted it to be, but also it feels more deliberate and feels more like specific, I guess. And maybe that's just because I'm playing a rogue instead of a wizard.
Oh, sure.
Because my wizard build in 3 is just, glass cannon, stand there and vaporize everyone.
Yeah.
Whereas the rogue, I have to constantly be doing things, and I have like an MMO style rotation where I'm just like R1, circle, triangle, triangle, square, square, square. But yeah, I don't know. I'm loving it, and I like I was a little worried the skill tree would be too simplistic. But as you go into it, it's really specific and branches out in a lot of ways, and you can completely, for the rogue anyway, you can completely change the way your character feels and plays.
Yeah, because you can do like ranged or melee and stuff like that.
And even within those, you can make it like my first build was kind of not good because I was doing
sure, yeah, if you're just messing around.
My basic was melee, my opener was ranged, and I would do caltrops and a poison trap and then jump back out and just kind of like shoot at them. But like, it was really fun. But I was telling you before, because it wasn't like specific enough, and I didn't know which of the like little passives to do.
Yeah.
I was like way too squishy. It was funny because I'm playing on world level 2, which is the hardest one you can do before
of course.
you get 50 or whatever. And it was pretty easy until level 30, and then I realized like there was a difficulty spike or something, and my build was not viable anymore. So I had to like go back to the drawing board. Now I'm doing twisting blades like everybody else, but it works.
Nice,
it works. But yeah, like most Diablos. Well, I was going to say that nothing matters till endgame, you know. Mm-hmm. But that feels less true in this one. Everything that I'm doing is still fun and interesting. Like, I don't worry too much about items yet.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about that too much yet.
Yeah.
Like maxing stuff.
Because, like, items, you know, once you get your endgame build, you're like, okay, now I need to be specific and, like, search for certain things. Mm-hmm. But right now I'm just like, oh, that number's higher, and it gives me a rank on this skill, which I love. Items giving you ranks on skills is really cool. Mm-hmm. Like I have 7 out of 5 on my main skill, you know, like it's above what you're possible to do.
Yeah, that's
and
nice.
I was like, oh, I didn't know that could happen. That's pretty neat. I want to be playing it all the time.
I definitely think about it sometimes.
Yeah, I'm playing it right here in my head right now. This is the first game in a long time that's like being detrimental to my life. Where I'm like, where it's like all I want to be doing.
Yes, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling, but it's bad.
Yeah, my fiance, you know, my fiance, she's like, hey, what if we like, you know, watched a movie or something, like spent some time together? And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Yeah.
So sorry, sweetie. Yeah.
I've been playing the Necromancer.
Hell yeah.
Which is cool. So the talent tree, we were talking about it earlier. Mm-hmm. I definitely feel like I have many options, and there's definitely always a feeling of, I wish I could get this, but I can't because I want to get this, which is an awesome kind of like, I'm having to make choices where I'm like, I want to pump up my minions or something like that.
Yeah.
I want that bone spear damage or something like that. It's been really fun. It's been really sick rolling around with a group of skeletons around me and stuff, dude. Just like fucking awesome. Like I gave them, because you have like you have your skill tree, then you have like for me it's called Book of the Dead.
Okay.
It's like the
specializations.
Yeah, you have like 3 you could pick from. So I picked one where my skeletons can hold like shields, and so they can take like a hit without taking damage.
Oh, that's neat.
Then I have like frost mage skeletons that like freeze guys like that. So I picked that. So it's like really fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, corpse explosion is like the coolest move ever.
Bread and butter, yeah, bread and butter.
Damiani, I don't know if you know what it is, but like you kill stuff or you damage something that leaves behind a corpse. You can either like raise skeleton or you can just fucking make it explode.
Yeah.
And do tons of damage, and you can like add debuffs to that to explode. It's just like, oh, you see the numbers pop, you're just like, yes, dude. You feel that itch, dude.
For the rogue, you can imbue your attacks, so you can.
Oh, really?
Certain attacks are imbuable, and there's a cold imbuement, a poison imbuement, and a shadow imbuement. Mm-hmm. The shadow imbuement, which is the one I'm using, and it works on 3 of my moves, I think. So you pop the imbuement, and then you hit guys, and it has a chance to explode the corpses too.
That's fucking cool.
And it rules.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's been interesting playing this game because Diablo 3 was the first one I really played.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't have a PC until I was like way later in high school, like 2004. I think when WoW came out, I was like, all right.
Yeah, time to
make this happen,
in.
kind of thing like that. So I missed D2 and all that stuff. I did play D2 Resurrected, which I thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it's been really interesting seeing the visual style of the game because Diablo 3 looks very different. It's much more colorful. I don't hate it. Like, I know a lot of people hate it, but it is just, the tone is super different, it feels like.
They hate 3 or 4?
The people like hate the visual style of 3 because it's very colorful. Yeah. Like 4 is very fucking bleak and everything sucks.
It is.
Everything going on is super bad.
Dark fantasy,
fucked up shit going on constantly. Like, Damiani, one of the early side quests is this woman's like, I can't find my husband.
I was just going to talk about that.
He's missing, kind of thing. Like, so you go out there and find him with his wife, and he's like strung up. He's like some sick fuck now that like loves pain. He's like skinned up there.
All right.
It's a literal Hellraiser reference.
Yeah, exactly.
He even says like such sights I've seen, like the pleasure. Like it's like quoting Hellraiser, and I'm like, sure, yeah.
So like, you're killing this bitch like right now. You know, it's like. It's the thing, you're killing demons constantly in this game, and I love it.
Nonstop.
They're just going back to what the older ones were pretty much.
Yeah,
you know,
it seems like the tone, especially
the tone,
of the games.
Oh yeah, 2 was very bleak.
Yeah, 2's very bleak.
And this one is more bleak so far, probably. Like there are glimmers of joy and hope, and then the game will just like fuck that person over for having hope.
Yeah.
It's just like it's really nice. I snack on it.
So you're further in the game than me, so you've experienced this more than I have. So D4 is like open world now.
Yeah.
So new to the game now, Damiani, you can see players in the world sometimes just walking around.
Okay.
And
it's an MMO.
It's not like separate zones you load into like chapters like the other games, you know, like Act 1 was Tristram or whatever. Yeah. This one, it's just like all the giant map. And the map's big, and I haven't been on it, and it's so big, Damiani, you have mounts now.
I haven't unlocked one
I haven't
yet.
gotten it yet.
Yeah.
I think you have to do story stuff.
There's something,
Renown.
yeah, something in Act 2 or 3. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know the character because when you from the very beginning of the game, you go to the stable and it's like complete quest, Donan's whatever, and I know that character. Lots of things have happened with that character, but I haven't done that quest yet, so I don't know if I've missed it or what. But yeah. Also, part of me, I'm interested to see how mounts impact the game because part of, for me, the discovery and the joy of the open world in this game is walking and seeing like, oh, there's a weird basement. Like, let me go in there, you know.
Yeah, mounts should be something you get after you've had the pleasure of seeing everything up close and personal, and then I'm starting
to get to the point where I'm like, ooh, that's far away, and I don't have a quick travel over there. Ooh, baby, that's far. You know, like this. Sometimes I'm like, give me a horse, but yeah.
I guess it depends how fast it is because I have no idea.
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of people on them yet, so
there's like fast travel spots pretty frequently.
Pretty generous,
so it's like not a big deal to me. And it's like hard to miss stuff. I feel like if there's an empty spot on your map, you'll find something there. Yeah. I haven't found anything like crazy secret yet. Maybe there is. I have no idea.
You get renowned for like you can tell on the map where there's like a little
fucking rep grind down man.
A little thing.
I like the rep grind, dude. It reminds me of old school World of Warcraft. Yeah, and that rep up, dude, because you get rewards for it, like an additional potion or something like that,
or skill points,
or
which
skill
is really
points,
big.
dude.
Yeah.
It's just feeding into my MMO brain the stuff I love. Dami, this game has a disgusting amount of content in it, it seems like so far. Amount of stuff you can do and like optional tasks. It's overwhelming. If you try to do everything, it seems like you're going to be playing for a very long
there you go.
time.
To have this and Zelda come out basically on top of each other, like I haven't beaten Zelda yet. I know you guys have several times probably, but like 8 or 9 times probably. But like I'm so dwarfed and am like terrified of the amount of content in both of those games. We're snacking, and then like Street Fighter came out at the same time, so like I set up a second TV. Sophia was playing Street Fighter while I was playing this, and like occasionally we would fight each other in Street Fighter, not in real life. And then like 16 is coming up, and I know like a lot of people are jazzed about that, and that seems huge. I'm just like, how is this? 2023 is like 1997 all over again or something. It's insane.
It's ridiculous. Let's read some emails about Diablo. This is from Colt Smith. Oh boy, am I happy to get into Diablo here this week. I just wrapped up Tears of the Kingdom, so now I have like half a month for Diablo before Final Fantasy 16. On the questions, how do you think Diablo holds up as a whole experience? Like Diablo 3 was a bit weak on story, for example, but the end game was solid as a rock.
Yeah.
Does D4 have a weak link, or is it all around awesome like Diablo 2? Also, how are you feeling about the classes? Are there any that feel like they should have been there but aren't? Congrats on your engagement, Isla.
Thanks.
I'll answer the last one real quick. Paladin seems like the most likely one to me that'll come.
That's the thing. Like they're I saw in the news like an article recently that they're working on 2 expansions right now.
Yeah.
Classes are always part of that.
Yes, I feel like Paladin will be first or second. Paladin feels like a no-brainer eventually.
It fills that sort of like magic and melee gap that's not exactly there right now, because Druid sort of does that, and Sorcerer is kind of similar to Wizard, and Rogue is kind of similar to Demon Hunter and Assassin. It's sort of like a mix of those. So nothing to me feels missing. Paladin's a good call, though. My dad liked to play Witch Doctor in 3.
I like the Witch Doctor.
So that was always fun. I love just like the nasty, like, I'd love to see a new class, honestly. Something that like dives into just like I'd love to play a character that's just like evil. Like they just fully use hell powers, and that's that. And it's like they are just aligned with themselves.
Like Necromancer, you just use
Necro
hell
is
powers.
pretty much like that. Yeah, I guess.
You're doing unholy shit constantly.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool to have like a class that is support based a little.
Support focused
like,
more so?
Which, and like Rogue, I can make enemies vulnerable, and that does it for everybody else too.
Yeah. Class
And,
there's
like,
definitely synergy you can have
I
with
know
players.
Barbarian has a lot of buffs and stuff that other people can use, but I'd be interested like if a Paladin could heal everyone or...
Sure, yeah,
something
maybe.
like
I have
that.
no idea. There's Crusader in 3, but I never played them, so I have no idea how they work.
Omar played a Crusader, and all I remember from the Crusader is that he got to a point, as do most Diablo builds, where he was literally unkillable. He could just stand there and he would never die.
Yeah.
Pretty good. What was the other? So far, I don't feel like anything is missing.
Does D4 have a weak link, or is it all around awesome like D2? Hard to say.
Yeah.
I feel like a game like this you need to spend so much time with.
Yeah.
And like season 1's not even around, not here yet. So this is a game you definitely have to watch for a while. But so far everything seems good foundation wise.
I've heard the end game is really good.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I just finished Act 2, like I said.
I'm
but-
of course annoyed there's skins and stuff like that to buy, but it's just the reality of things nowadays.
It's inoffensive, yeah. And like I look at them mostly just to get the like new icon to go away off of the damn menu, but like I am a little confused. Like even the ones that look cool, I'm like, this is Diablo. Like I'll transmog if I find it and I want something to all look cohesive, but it's like half of the joy of Diablo is finding cool looking shit.
Yeah, exactly. I guess my thing is like I wish it wasn't there, but I understand why it's there.
Yeah.
Especially for a game that's going to be constantly going with support. You know, it's like a live service game now.
Yeah.
So like I understand.
When the Battle Pass comes out, I'll probably at least buy the first one. Just
Sure, yeah.
Or maybe it comes with the Ultimate Edition.
I think if you have
'cause that's what we
the
got
$100 one.
Okay, yeah, so I think I'll just get that maybe. But like, yeah, I'm interested in what'll be in there. Like if it's Murmuring Obols or something, I'll be like, sick.
I think it's just skins they've said right now, or cosmetics.
All right. Well, that's less
They
interesting.
have said no player power, like buying wise, which is great. Like
That is good. Yeah.
save that for Diablo Immortal, all right? Keep that out of this game.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a good point because it is multiplayer more so than before.
Yeah.
Which is pretty unobtrusive. Like I've had one stranger invite me to a party, and we have a clan. Join our
We
clan.
have an Easy Allies clan.
It's called Easy Allies. The code is Easy A. I think you can search for either one of those.
Yeah.
I'm the leader of it currently, but Brad and Huber and I made a few other people officers
power.
so that they have invite power and
Yeah.
like ban power and stuff like that. Cause but join it.
Join
We've got
it.
slots. I think we're at 50 people or something, and you can do 150. So there's 100 slots left.
They also asked how we feel about the classes. So I've only really messed with the very first time I played the game, which was a while ago now, was Barbarian. And
Cool.
it seemed cool at the time. Well, when I played it, there was only like 2 or 3 classes I
Right?
could play
Yeah,
as.
they only allowed a few.
But Barb was cool. Like I remember, I think I had like a kick move where I could like kick guys. I was like sick.
Cool.
All that good stuff. But I definitely am interested in trying out other classes. Where I'm like, I want to try Rogue out. You know,
Yeah.
I want to try Barbarian. Like I was played with Huber some. Of course, he's
He's
the
a
druid.
Oh,
No,
he's
he's
a
the druid
right, of
with
course,
me.
Yeah, because of bear.
And if the bear form, he does. I think he said he has 2 moves and that's it that he does.
Sometimes you get into weird situations in 4 where it's like, my build is like ultra powerful, but I have 3 moves.
Yeah,
and
but he
that's
just
it.
loves it. Yeah, that's just like it's so good. So
Yeah,
I'm feeling cool
I've-
about the classes right now.
I've heard from some people, and I think this was really true in the beta. I think they putzed with it a little bit, but I heard that Barbarian and Druid were really great end game and a little boring early game.
Yeah.
I think maybe they've addressed that because now I see lists where Barbarian and Druid are like top listed.
We're still in the early days, so it's hard
nobody
to see.
knows what the hell they're talking about. And like things are getting nerfed and buffed every day, literally.
Yeah, they're hotfixing stuff pretty frequently, which is nice.
But I played Sorcerer in the first beta, and I got it to 25, which was the level cap in the beta. I really loved it, but then I tried Rogue just to like see, and I liked how active it was, so I went Rogue for the main game.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually I think I would try probably Necro and Druid maybe. Druid seems cool.
Yeah, I think Druid seems cool.
Yeah.
I've only seen the bear form, but I assume there's other ones.
I think there's a wolf also.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Neo GD asked, is Diablo the perfect podcast game? If not, what is? It's a good podcast game.
Once you get to end game, it will definitely.
If you want to like pay attention to the story, I guess, then no.
Yeah,
But there's definitely a lot of moments if you just go like a random dungeon. It's like 20 minutes.
You can choose to play Diablo 4 in a podcast mode if you don't want to do the main story quest. I so far have really been liking the story. Especially like somebody else said compared to 3. 3's not bad, it's just kind of predictable and very simple, but this one is like complicated and nasty and sad and like everything you want in a Diablo story so far. So if you're doing story stuff, I'd say don't listen to a podcast, but if you're just grinding random dungeons and doing world events and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah. Have you looked at the Paragon board or anything like that?
I've been saving it.
Okay.
I know that I saw a video about it, so I've seen like how insane it is, and that the boards can fucking like rotate. There are like sections of board, and they can rotate, and like there are end glyphs or whatever that you can. They say that like completely change your build.
Shit.
So it seems like because Paragon in 3 was cool, but it was mostly just kind of like, hey, your critical strike chance is higher now.
Oh, kind of like boring stuff?
Yeah, it was just like, this number goes up.
Nothing that changes the way you play necessarily.
Right, whereas this, I am not there yet, so maybe I'm, puffing it up too much. But like, if what they said in that video is to be believed, it like literally changes builds. And they want you to like look at it and plan it out like a regular build. So it seems pretty wild. I don't know. It is gigantic.
Yeah.
So I'm a little daunted by it, but it unlocks at level 50, I guess. So
yeah,
I'm almost there.
One good thing about the game is, from a technical standpoint, it's been pretty damn solid. From like I played, I think it came out on Thursday for us, like 5 p.m. And I played Friday, and my queue was like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
compared to D3, which was like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Of just like you can't even play the game.
Longest queue I've had so far was 3 minutes, and it was yesterday. And I was like, oh wait, everyone has the game now. Like it just went like public.
Yeah.
Like 40 minutes before I logged in, and I was like, that's pretty good. First beta, the wait times were like 80 minutes, 100 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely think we're getting to the era now where online only games like this you can play the first day they actually come out now, instead of just like assuming the first day you won't be able to play. Like 14 Damiani, I remember like Stormblood was like a fucking nightmare. Just like in that Raban thing.
It's gone back and forth. Like Stormblood had problems. Shadowbringers was a little bit better.
Yeah.
Endwalker was just like the volume of people. Yeah. It was just like impossible to get. Like you had to wait hours to get in. If you,
I forgot. Yeah.
People were using like they had like the auto kick timer, but people were using like scripts to get around it because
just wiggle the mouse scripts or
just auto jump scripts. So jump every so often, and like if you didn't do it and you got logged out, you expect to like you maybe take a few hours to get back in.
Man.
And it was also having like the queue line issue where you could get like kicked out, and initially it wasn't remembering your spot, so you had to like go back to the back of the line if you like disconnected during it. They've fixed that pretty quickly, but there were some good rage videos about that.
Interesting about 14 is they don't do betas or any like tests like that. Like Diablo's had like 3 betas and stuff like that.
Like Diablo's betas were super effective, and like even during the beta, I could see them improving things. Like the first day of beta 1 that I was in, the open beta or closed beta, whatever, the wait times were crazy. And then like a few hours later, they were way better. And I was like, wow, I can see you actually improving this and like making the changes. So like they used it well and it worked. I've had the game It's kind of frozen and crashed twice, but it didn't lose any progress.
You're playing on PlayStation?
I'm playing PS5.
Okay.
Which may honestly have been local internet problems. We had
Sure.
like a router issue, and I just replaced the router and updated my firmware, and everything's better now. Replaced the modem, I mean.
Yeah.
So it might have been that. I don't know. But yeah, that's like the only things I've had.
Yeah, I had some lag spikes with Mike, but he was the host at the time. When we switched it to me, it was fine. So
Yeah,
I
I've
don't
played
know.
online, and it was
But
totally
we're doing
fine.
crossplay too.
Right.
Because I'm playing on PC and he's doing PS5, so it's pretty cool
Yeah,
you can
I-
even do that.
I played with somebody who was playing on Xbox, and it was
Nice.
totally fine.
Yeah.
Damiani, how you feeling about Diablo? Just watching from the sidelines a little bit. I know you've been
Seems
busy.
like it. I mean, obviously, it seems like people are way more excited. It seems like it had a much better launch. Like everything's just like a complete 180 from the start of Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Obviously, they Blizzard took steps to try and correct course with Diablo 3, but out of the gates, it looks like Diablo 4 is on the right course.
Yep.
It's just, as you said earlier, Brad, about can they maintain that and what, the content and balances they have planned down the line to keep people happy. Because, I mean, we've seen good launches before, like Halo Infinite. Great
Yeah.
launch.
Yeah,
It's
fair
like,
point.
I think I trust Blizzard a little bit more than 343 at this point for roadmaps.
Oh, sure.
Because it's Blizzard's...
They have a roadmap.
Yeah.
Not for being a company or
Yeah.
being good people, but for having a roadmap, sure.
Yeah, just for in terms of delivering content. Yeah,
Right.
sorry, that was tunnel vision on the point and
No,
missing
right, yeah,
the
yeah,
bigger
yeah.
No, I know what you mean.
No. I was just kind of teasing.
I guess that's where some of my hesitation is, Damiani, is because it is Blizzard, and as someone who's played their games for a long time, it's like it peaks and valleys with this company.
Oh, yeah.
in content, especially just after Overwatch 2, where they're like, yeah, we're just doing that sick new mode we advertise.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right,
The whole
cool.
reason we made it a sequel instead of an add-on. Yeah.
But it seems like so far, Diablo has a very good start, so hopefully that momentum will continue.
Yeah.
All right, Damiani, you've been playing Street Fighter 6.
Oh yeah.
Street Fighter 6 came out the same day as this early access for Diablo 4. So I've been in a hell of a pickle. I've only played a little bit in the lab. I was just fucking around with Ken, just trying out some of his stuff. I gotta say, it feels good though from what I played of it.
Oh yeah. The biggest disclaimer is we're not reviewing this, but
No.
when I was playing it early, I was like, how would you even review this? You have to be like, this is from a casual perspective, and be like, any discussions balance and it feels good to us, but it's I was man, I have to put a disclaimer up saying we're not gonna even get into balance or how it can troll feels.
Yeah.
I was I know this is a tangent, but I was wrestling with that. I was this is the type of game where I think you have to have different perspectives matter for review, and this is a game that can have benefits from having different voices talk about it, and that kind of ties into what I've been playing, which is the World Tour. Because Street Fighter V didn't launch with any kind
Street
of
Fighter V launched with nothing.
Yeah, with nothing, and this is significant story component, and B, the control schemes that they're offering, having the classic and then the modern controls, and then also having a auto combo or situational combo modifier as well if you want to go even further.
A lot of Arc System Work games have that kind of stuff.
Yes, I think
sounds
so.
familiar.
Yeah. So this is not maybe unique, but it's nice that more are adopting it. And for me, the modern controls are good, baseline, because you just have light, medium, heavy, and a special button mapped to the 4 face buttons, and then it's an up, down, left, right, or neutral input determines what actually executes. So you do not need to do complex directional inputs. So no half circle, quarter circle, Shoryuken movement, that stuff.
But you can still.
Oh yeah, obviously
you can use classic controls.
Absolutely.
But I was playing on modern with Cammy, and I was doing cannon spike or whatever arrow move, and it would do it when I did the motion for it.
So yeah, there's an regardless of what you use, if you use modern, you can just do the manual inputs and it will still come out.
Okay, yeah.
And also you can disable it, I believe, but if you leave it on, you can also have the auto combo thing, which is just nice because it's holding down I think on PlayStation it's right trigger, and so when you hold right trigger and keep mashing light, depending on where you are to your opponent, it will try and do some type of combo for you. And then medium will do a medium. And then the heavy one's nice because it'll try and do a heavy combo into a super if you actually have super meter. And it's nice because it's good for people who struggle with those like kind of like timely executions, not just like directional inputs, but just the timing of like just the rhythm of inputs. But it's nice because you see how it's supposed to look and how it feels. So like you can go from there like, oh, I see the timing of this, even though I'm just mashing one button. Let me, you can kind of evolve from there. So I spent a lot of time messing with modern controls because like, how does this feel? And it just makes it it allows you to focus on other things, which I think is nice. Like your spacing, footsies, like you can practice like cross-ups a little bit easier. Like, oh, I'm gonna jump and kick and go over your head and make the opponent turn around, and like maybe I can do like a mix up here. So that type of stuff is nice to be able to practice. So this game's giving you all those nice options. And then in World Tour mode, really nice like story content. Interesting presentation. You're in Metro City. You're like new person who comes in. You go to Luke, who becomes like your first kind of like teacher. It was in the demo. We kind of saw what happened.
Yeah, character creator.
And then you have a character creator. You can make crazy stuff. You can make like I made like Chris Redfield basically.
Yeah, you did.
So
nice.
you can go normal. You can go crazy. You can have all that fun. And from there, the city keeps evolving and expanding as you can meet like new teachers. I think the second one you can meet is Chun-Li. That's the second one you can meet. There's like side quests you can do. There are like regular bad guys, like the remnants of like the Mad Gear gang, the box heads, and like. Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that these fights are only in 30 frames instead of 60 frames. I think it's because it's
You said the character creator.
I think it has something to do with the character creator, and it's like you can fight anywhere in Metro City, and it just like goes right into the fight. There's like a small quick load, and then you're right there in the space you were just at. So I think
that's only with created characters in World Tour?
Yeah, World Tour,
frames?
yeah.
Okay, so real like arcade
the real stuff is 60
Okay.
frames.
Yeah.
But I think any character...
that'd be a big problem.
I know, I'd be like, I'm surprised I didn't hear about that. Yeah.
But yeah, like you have like side quest where you get to explore the city. There's a day-night cycle thing where you go to not a hotel, but like a spot where you can rest and you can advance it to night or day, and like nighttime enemies are more aggressive. You can see the levels of every enemy. I mean, you can just grind it out. Like the first chapter, you just go up to every regular citizen and they have like a prompt to either talk with them or fight them. And it's really cool. Like you just like bump, like cross, like not fist, but like kind of across like forearms like that. And then you just go into a fight and you just like they have lore for it. It's like, oh, the people like Mad Gear overran the city, and then Mayor Hagar came in, cleaned up the city, but like people here are tough. So like everyone knows how to fight. So it's just like part of the lore, which is pretty insane and crazy. And I kind of like dig it. And yeah, you just fight anyone. You can grind up and you can get completely over leveled, which is nice. And the great thing about World Tour mode is you're not only is it the create a character, but you can start equipping different abilities to your different slots based on the more teachers and dojos you unlock. So you go to like Luke, Chun-Li, and you can get like DJ, like Marissa is another one you can get. Like they're pretty much all there as you keep playing. And you have your own character level, and then you have like your dojo rep level as well. And as you do that, you get like new conversations with your teacher, and you can eventually learn new moves from them. And
that rep is per teacher?
Yeah, so you have a per teacher and their character level. And so you can start equipping, like, with Luke, you have Luke's, like, you have two...
his moves,
Yeah, so you start getting specials and, like, supers, and you can start mixing and matching with that.
That's cool.
You unlock... There's, a skill tree system, and it's kind of cool they do the skill tree system. It's presented kind of like a tournament bracket. So you have two choices for each, like, it's like there might be, like, a round of 8, and so you have two options in the first, like, round. It's like, do I want more kick strength or more punch strength? And you pick one, the other one loses,
right?
So you don't get any more, and like you keep going, and eventually you can unlock like more slots for accessories and new moves. And accessories is like clothing. So they have a whole clothing system in this game. And as you go to new areas of Metro City, you get new stores. You can buy new clothes. Some clothing is a reward, and they all have like stat attributes, so they can buff your different stats as well. And you can look kind of really goofy, but they have like a transmog system where you can go in and choose the appearance of any item as well.
That's good.
So it's really like, it's really robust,
it's really
like that.
Fleshed out compared to what Street Fighter's been in the past.
And it's just, it's kind of fun to run around the city. They do kind of gate you off early on, but there are some like, fire ladders that go up to rooftops. There's like a superhero dude up there that was super high level that I met. Like I was like level 30 or something. He was like level 30, level like just under it. And I was like, dude, he's like, I just watch over the city and protect it. I was like, dude, I'm gonna come back and fight you at some point because you can do fight.
Does World Tour have like punch this car type stuff built into it too?
So there are
many, arcade does.
There's two things. There's mini game NPCs. One of them was like break the boards and it had like different difficulty levels. They also had what's it called, Hado Pizza, which was like kind of like not like a rhythm game, but it was like you had to do the right inputs. Simon Says type game, but you just had to literally follow what it told you to do, and you had a time limit. And it was to make the pizza. So he did the right moves. You were like putting on the right toppings, and he made like the pizza at the end.
That's jolly, dude.
And then you can use, as you learn new special moves from your teachers, you can also equip them as environmental attacks.
Right.
So like spinning bird kick from Chun-Li, you can do that to cross distances. Like on the rooftop, I want to go over to this other rooftop. You can like cross a gap.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Or there's like signs and like bins and stuff you can just smash through. And then the enemies, you can initiate an attack against them, so you'll do some damage and beat it. It's like RPG. It's like I initiated the battle, and then they can attack you too first, and then they're at an advantage. And some of these battles, you just have like multiple waves of people coming at you from like both directions. Sometimes you have your like kind of like Pokemon rival dude who shows up as well. He can help you out in some battles, but also teachers, you could call them as assist. So yeah, you hit like both the L1, R1 on PlayStation, and they'll just jump in and come help you out. I really haven't had to use it because I've been like kind of over leveled, but I've tried it out a few times, like with Luke and Chun-Li, to have them drop in. And yeah, they give you a lot of different options. You have items you can use outside of battle and inside of battle to increase your attributes, like health, like to heal, more attack, more defense. And
I remember in the demo we bought like a dish from a food truck.
Yeah,
it was like a healing item.
There was like two types of pizza, like a veggie or the pepperoni pizza you could buy, and they start from there. And yeah, I mean, there's like hidden like chests that have you have like money in this as well. You can earn. I'm trying to think if there's anything like you have all the things done through your cell phone, so like you can track your missions, you can change your gear, everything through there. There's also fast travel in Metro City. They're bus stops, so as you find them and engage them, you can just like quickly hop across town. Some of them require you to do some kind of activity before you can unlock them. And then obviously it's a world tour mode. You can travel to other locations. Now, the one thing I was slightly disappointed about was Metro City so far is the only big environment area.
I was gonna ask
Everything else is just kind of like a set piece locale, like a little like stage environment area where you can walk around a little bit. And it has like the teacher there, a few NPCs. They have nice cutscenes that introduce them, but you're not one of the first ones I went to was the UK. You don't go around London. I was like, oh, you're just outside some like iconic
I guess
landmark.
I'm not surprised by that, but it's kind of a bummer.
But like, I haven't even unlocked all of Metro City yet. I think there's still like one part maybe that's like not unlocked, but they still keep adding on to it, so it's kind of nice. And again, a lot of side quests, challenge ones where your instructors, well, not your teachers, but you have these like kind of like a street team who's assigned to you at the beginning from Luke. You met what's her face, the first Alice,
Lisa or Alice,
yeah. She has two assistants as well. They teach you the fundamentals. Like, you must beat me by only throwing me. You must beat me by not taking damage.
Yes.
You must beat me by only doing like anti-air. So they're kind of teaching you like the base. World Tour feels like it's a very well disguised tutorial.
I was going to ask you if it felt like it's teaching you how to play the game.
It is.
Because I did like the normal tutorial, just like the classic tutorial. You're in a place and it's like, hey, here's how to do this new tech, like the R2, R1.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called, but it's like that new
parry
mechanic
or whatever
thing. There's the parry and like there's supers and stuff like that. But
Sophia said that tutorial was really good.
Yeah.
Compared to 5, she said like
they're
explaining why you want to do these things too.
Yeah,
as well as how.
It does kind of explain like here's some extra depth to these things.
Yeah.
But it's good. It sounds like the tutorial is like a nice the World Tour Remote is a nice fleshed out tutorial actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's letting you focus on, like, it's basically teaching you the basics you have to understand. It's not going to make you like a very good or great fighter, but at least you'll understand knowledge. Like the rudimentary stuff about how to compete in Street Fighter.
It's introducing you to the mechanics of each other character too through the gurus.
So that's actually pretty cool because you get to see different fighting styles.
Yeah.
And if you're not like really gravitating towards one, it's like, oh, now you know, like, oh, maybe you don't like Chun-Li's style, so I would not pick Chun-Li when I move on from World Tour to fight other people or fight in like the arcade or other modes.
I really like in the character selector, whatever, that they show. This is a fast character, mid-range, and it's normal difficulty to use.
That's
for like,
nice.
et cetera, for each one. And I'm like, that's really cool, because then I could just look for the speed characters that are normal or easy, and I'm like, great.
Yeah, they all have very distinct feels to the characters, so I think it's pretty important to get like this is a very low stakes way to feel out the styles because like. Chun-Li is like going from Luke to Chun-Li is very different. And I think, some people might not be used to like Chun-Li's style. Her combo sometimes like the timing's a little bit like harder and different than something like a Luke character. Yeah. And then like later they get like DJ and it's like, oh, DJ, their combos are like, are a little bit like in between, I feel like. And then I forget her
DJ
face.
the Capoeira one, or is that I don't remember DJ. I'm thinking of Eddie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of Eddie.
Who is
no, there's a Street Fighter 5 one.
The new girl who's like T-Hawk related.
Oh, I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
But her style is very different from the characters and takes a little bit, getting used to. So, and then, you got like a grappler type character like with Marissa, and I haven't got Jury yet. So, yeah, it's just getting to sample some of those. But the nice thing is you can like World Tour lets you mix and match. So if like I like this move and I like this move, so you kind of really can build that. And I don't know, it's like fun because you get to, it's kind of like a dream mode where you just get to like goof around and mess around with anything you want before moving, taking off the training wheels and having to move into the other game modes. But I mean, it's pretty decently length so far. I don't know how long it's going to take to complete, but I mean, it seems pretty substantial.
Yeah, I think it was a smart move for them to do this.
Yeah, I love that they included it because, like, even if it's like they didn't have to include it at all for it to be, because Street Fighter usually doesn't have anything like that, and the fact that they did, and the fact that it's pretty good, like we're snacking. That's great.
It's definitely meant to be played, I think, in sessions because it gets very repetitive in its nature. I mean, the side activity stuff, the minigame like activities can kind of break up that, but it also, there aren't enough of those really to do like marathon sessions, I feel like.
I think Mortal Kombat raised the stakes on campaign in like a fighting game. They kind of like set the bar, I feel like that. So it feels good that Street Fighter is like doing that too, just in a very different way. So I think it's very smart to get a lot of people are intimidated by fighting games. They don't want to spend the time to learn something like that. So it's good that there's something that people can hop into to get them into it. Like
exactly. If you have no interest in the competitive scene, if you have no interest in going online and having like
a lot of people
out,
don't.
Yeah, this is just so low stakes,
but I like playing
fun.
them.
It's goofy. It's jolly. I think it has a lot of referential stuff for Capcom fighting fans, or like to get a little bit more out of it. For example, like for goofiness, like I unlocked the Blanca Chan outfit. Like it's a whole suit, and I put it on before I went
mask and everything.
It's a whole cosplay thing, and I went to DJ to meet DJ for the first time, and they're doing like a dance party outside, and he's looking at you because you're supposed to be the only one in the audience who's not smiling, but you have like this Blanca Chan, so it's just like this deadpan reaction from him. It's like, oh, like. What's going on under there? You're like, all right, let's dance. And you have like a dance thing, he thinks you want to be you want to like train with him as a dancer, like singer instead of a fighter.
That's funny.
And so he's having you do the moves, and I'm in the Blanca Chan outfit. I'm like, all right, there's some good moments in this game if you set it up right. Yeah.
I think the Fight Hub is really cool. I haven't really messed around with it, but what I've seen of it is super sick. Like you can play old Capcom games and stuff like that.
A lot of that was turned off before I could play.
Yeah.
But now that's like out. It's like it was unlocked. I've watched other people have been playing it. That hub environment seems like packed with people.
Dude, Damiani,
having a good time.
Sorry to interrupt you, but when I saw the Fight Hub and like the vibe of it, it reminded me of Play Online.
Yeah,
And I was like, sick.
It's like that, or like old Fantasy Star.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, totally.
It's like those
PlayStation
lobby
Home.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like having those classic games. I mean, hopefully they can keep adding to that to keep maybe
sick.
rotating them out seasonally or something.
Yeah, or like with the characters that are coming, maybe they'll come with like a new arcade or something. I don't know.
Was it like the? I had the weird. I've never encountered this in a game before. I downloaded it on my Xbox because I was playing Diablo 4 on my PlayStation, and Sophia wanted to play it, so I was like, okay. And I downloaded the game, and then we go into the game, and it's like. She was trying to do the fighting, whatever, like the normal arcade mode. It was like, this isn't downloaded. And I was like, what? And then we tried a different thing, and it was like, this isn't downloaded. And we had to Google. Yeah, we had to go into Manage Game and like click on them separately to download the rest of the game I owned already.
So on PlayStation, it just did it automatically.
That's what
for me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an Xbox thing, but I was just like, that is weird.
Yeah, didn't run into that issue.
If you run into that. Go to Manage Game and make sure that all of the parts of the game are clicked because it lets you choose. Because I was like, what? It was so bizarre.
I really like
There's no in-game way to do it.
I like the presentation of this game.
Yeah.
Like coming from the initial logo reveal to where we are now.
Although the same 30 seconds of that rap song that starts playing when you go to the menu, I'm already sick of it. Like Sophia was playing it next to me. I'm like, I've heard that same 12 seconds 15 times.
It's the indestructible, not quite as bad as Indestructible probably, but like it's Street Fighter 4 Indestructible theme where it's like, you hear it start up, like, all right, let's go. But I mean, you get so used to where you're navigating, it's like plays for a few seconds. I'm like, it feels
it's like not even
comfort.
a gripe. Yeah.
It's like comforting to hear it. But like the general music, I think I really like it. Like the voice work is fun. Like the characters, like Luke is the first one you meet. He's like being overly peppy, but like, he's like doing it because he's, putting on kind of like, he is like, that's his personality. But at the same time, he's like, like I'm also like a realist and like, I'm just trying to be like upbeat for you. And like, he's like, you know what? He feels like the Huber of the game because like all his little text messages are so like they're coming at you fast, furious, and he's like telling you like cool stuff and like trying to get you like, hey man, this is good and stuff, and like, and even when something bad happens, he's like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Like like it's I won't sugarcoat it, but like, hey, it's like you can turn around from this. It's like nice person. Whereas everyone else has like their own unique personalities, and again, it's a fighting game like goofiness, for like storyline plots, but. Even like for like the smaller characters, like some of like the villainous characters, they have like some goofy shit that goes on with them too, and it's like
it feels like that
comical,
patented Capcom like goofiness, which I really like.
Have you messed with like the main roster at all? Really?
So no, that's the thing. I've actually only been like just in World Tour and doing my custom, but like I'm champing at the bit to
champing
two things. I heard all of you talking about it. I forget where, and you were like arguing whether it was chomping or champing.
Bloodworth and I have had the same argument like 4 times on the podcast. I'm pretty sure.
And then it came up in an episode of Ozark where it's like champing at the bit, like they like say it, and I have the subtitles. It's like it's champing.
Yeah.
It's a horse trainer. They're saying champing at the bit.
Champing, yep.
But
you win, Bloodworth.
Champing at the bit for to play as the main roster and like dive into playing a little bit of the game proper outside of the story mode for sure. Like I think that's its intended design for World Tours to get you past a little bit of that and excited to like, let's try some of the other stuff out. And obviously, if it doesn't work out, I feel like you get a good amount of time out of World Tour that I feel like you didn't like. It wasn't wasted. You still feel kind of satisfied at the end.
I love that it's in there because for somebody like me, I always feel like I'm always super interested in fighting games, but then I burn out so hard because I'm just not good at them, and I don't have that kind of like drive to grind it out and learn and like try to do ranked and like because I just get decimated by every human being I go up against, right? But like playing against computers and stuff, I can do okay. And so all I want is to be able to do a little world tour mode and like play the arcade modes and stuff like that. And I love that. Yeah.
That's fun.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, if you can have best of both worlds, it's great. Yeah. Because like I think that's so cool. Even though I don't get deep into it, is like I like the competitive scene of it a lot. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
But hey, like World Tour sounds fun.
I love to watch people play
Yeah.
Evo. I'm like, God damn it, you guys are great at this. But I can't do it.
All right, we got 2 questions, both from the Wojnar brothers.
Wojnar!
We're going to do Zach first.
Okay.
Based on the superb-looking World Tour mode in Street Fighter 6 and the underwhelming showing of Mortal Kombat 1 thus far, this might be the first time I skip Mortal Kombat and hop aboard Street Fighter. Ooh. Of course, there's a chance MK1 could have a similar or equally unique and compelling single-player mode, but we'll see. Can you talk about times when you've jumped ship from one franchise to a competitor? Call of Duty to Battlefield, GTA to Saints Row, anything like that?
Skyrim to Dark Souls. And I never looked back.
I was definitely considering going over to getting a PlayStation and going into Final Fantasy VII because Ocarina of Time was taking so long to come out.
Oh, really? That's funny. Because it came out next year.
It took forever. I was like, but then when they finally announced, like they gave a year, finally, like 98, it's definitely coming out. Like here's like real things and like, oh, it's finally tangible. Like I held off. Like I was so close to pulling, like trying to go for that and be like, tell my parents like, I actually don't want Nintendo 64. Like any money I save up should go towards like PlayStation and Final Fantasy 7.
That's like a different reality. Like a different branch happened.
And then like N64 and Ocarina of Time, and I got that. I was like, that's good.
I can't think of a time where I like jump ship from competitor for a game. I always just kind of wanted to play everything if I could help it. Obviously, when we were younger, we had to make choices like consoles, When I was a
chose
kid, the PS2 over the Dreamcast, kind of thing like that.
Yeah. Oh, console choices were huge.
Yeah, but like games, I can't really think of many.
Yeah. Another one was like, I was initially, excited for PS3, and then the more was revealed, the more I was like not excited, and it was taking forever for some of the big games. And so I remember getting...
What, you weren't into Lair, Damiani?
Yeah, Lair.
Genji, Dave the Blade.
Yeah, Genji. Xbox 360 and Halo 3. I was like, you know what? I never played really Halo, and I have never had the Xbox, so I'm gonna do this. So I had a 360 and got Halo before I had a PS3.
Me too.
Wow. And then after that, I think the next year, 2008, after like Devil May Cry and Metal Gear Solid 4 was the moment where
that's when Huber bought it.
I was like, time to go get it. I need to go find a PS3.
Time to get serious.
I got mine when Little Big Planet came out, I think. Like the holiday around that, but I knew stuff was starting to come out, so I waited. I didn't get it when it first came out. No one bought a PS3 when it first came out, dude.
Like, no, man, what?
$599.
And no games? It's like, well, no.
I was definitely more interested in like Silent Hill versus Resident Evil when they both came out, but I played them both and I loved them both.
Definitely.
So yeah, I didn't like pick a team.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did that I can recall. All right, this is from Jason Wojnar now. For the first time ever, Street Fighter interests me more than Mortal Kombat. Kind of similar thing from both of them. Mortal Kombat was day one for me since 2011's reboot, but now MK1 has me uninterested unless they do something like the World Tour mode or a revamped Conquest mode like from the PS2 era. I do remember that. That was fun. Do you think fighting games should and will add more to appease single-player gamers who might be avid fighting game fans? Yeah, I think it's important to offer more to get more people to play your game. You obviously don't want to forget the core of your identity and why people have a fan base of your game.
You have to get the other stuff right first.
Yeah.
But I'm thrilled about the Street Fighter thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think you should have some of that.
I mean, just having good amount of like PvE content for this is nice. And then and if it's something you can't do, like if you don't have like the budget, I mean, just ways where participation can give you rewards towards something. Yeah. I think that's also helpful and gets people past that kind of like barrier of I'm afraid of losing, and like there's only like the competitive, and like the only thing is to rank up, and it's like when it's only that system, obviously you're gonna lose people, and obviously like the rewards are gonna be cool. So like generally like skins, like cool skins. Like I think if they can start offering like really cool like Capcom themed skins like from other Capcom franchises and start there, like hey, you're
gonna have to buy
like
those.
Earn them. I mean they're gonna sell them.
Buy some bucks.
I'd buy Jill Valentine.
I forget what the currency is in the game.
I don't know.
There is some
I have no idea.
pay currency crap. There is.
Yeah, of course.
For skins or cosmetics. Yeah.
I think It's funny. It's time for Sorted Out, a segment where we just talk about something that's annoying us in the gaming industry. It could be a game company, whatever. First of all, do either of you have a Sorted Out? Something that's bothering you in games.
Space them out.
Space them out. More time.
Yeah,
Space them out a little bit. But that's really just this couple of months problem. Mm-hmm. In fact, don't space them out.
It's a problem if you like many types of games, I guess.
Yeah. It's fun. Release more games on the same day.
Yeah. This is from the Champ. Okay?
Or the Chomp.
Or the Chomp, whatever. Sorted out, Capcom. There has been a lot of keep it up, Capcom, over the past few months. But they have to be called out with the fight tickets, drive tickets, and Ultimate Edition perks for Street Fighter 6.
There you go.
Stop with multiple digital currencies. Multiple currencies weren't a thing in the reviews, nor did Capcom mention anything before release to my knowledge. I paid over $100 for the Ultimate Edition, and when I boot up the game, I get the most useless digital currency, and it's only enough to buy one legendary item for an avatar that doesn't increase stats. It was an additional 20 or so for what? 3,000 drive tickets? At least make all the classic costumes available for Ultimate Pass buyers. But nope. Instead, you either have to grind in a useless mode, useless to me, or shell out more cash for the other types of currency to buy the classic costumes. At least the classic costumes are cheap when compared to costumes in other games, but give it time, I bet future costumes cost more. So sort out your pricing and currencies. I think multiple currencies is super annoying.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. There should be at most, I think, an in-game earnable currency and a real money currency. Like if you're gonna do both, that's it. You don't need 4 other currencies. You don't need weird like middle ground currencies. It's so annoying. Which game was Blood talking about recently that had like
the Lego game?
Or the Disney one?
Disney
There were like 8 different
speed.
Light speed.
Yeah, there were like 8 different currencies.
Speedstorm,
Yeah.
Some nonsense.
Sorry, I talked over you, but
I couldn't remember the title. Don't worry, I was talking over everyone else.
But yeah, I agree. Quit it with all these currencies.
Just stop, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was greedy for like boot up Street Fighter today, and it like there's a new like notice thing like here are all these like dailies and currency. I was like, oh no, that's
dailies.
Oh no, there they are. There you go. Drive tickets, fight tickets. It's like there you go. It's like
anytime I see that third currency in a game, I'm like, what the fuck is that? How do I get that? Like,
Does the $100 edition come with the season pass or like fighters? I hope so, at least.
I don't know.
I don't know.
$100, dude. Fuck.
Probably not. I don't. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Because some. I don't know. We should probably.
I have no idea.
But I mean that's when they do the. They're down the line the Ultimate Edition that has like all this like every season pass unlocked.
Yeah.
Well, Capcom's usually good about that kind of stuff where it's like a few months later they'll just unlock all the stuff that you could earn anyway if you don't feel like grinding it, but you pay $5 or whatever.
Yeah. All right, this is from the Maelstrom. Sorted out Nintendo soundtracks on streaming services. I recently made a Spotify playlist with some of my favorite songs from video games, including Persona 5, Hollow Knight, Cuphead, Chrono Trigger, and many more. But my playlist feels lacking, and it's because there's no Nintendo soundtracks on Spotify. Every other game developer, both Western and Japanese, are on Spotify, but Nintendo is on Spotify, but Nintendo. So what gives? Either I have to try to find a cover of the song, which usually doesn't live up to the original, or I have to go to YouTube and find somebody who uploaded it. And that video might get taken down at any time by Nintendo since they don't feel like uploading soundtracks themselves. Nintendo, sort it out, and the developers who do upload their music, keep it up.
Yeah.
I wish Nintendo would, to me, it's just Nintendo being Nintendo.
Yeah, they don't play ball. They don't play the same ball that everybody else
plays. They play their own game, for sure.
Yeah, they have like Japanese-only soundtracks that they sometimes do. Usually very expensive.
Like the Breath of the Wild one that we have. I think was Japanese
Breath of the Wild, they did that. Xenoblade, they just did a Xenoblade series. Like you can do like 1, 2 together, and then 3, and then you can do 1, 2, and 3 together, and it's like astronomically priced, like hundreds of dollars for each. And I'm like,
It would make more sense to me, though, if they were selling all of them, but they're just not, like, most of these are just not available.
yeah, they don't even sell them.
There's just
like
no
the
way.
Blu-ray, the CD versions of these. Like, they're even like a digital album. They
Yeah, I was
don't,
gonna say,
they
you
don't
can't
even
even buy it
do
on
that.
iTunes.
Can't even buy
or
it.
whatever.
Well, and you can't even capture it in game half the time because you can't turn off sound effects in some
That's true.
Nintendo games.
That's what
It's just
happened
like,
with Zelda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Nintendo now is obviously the worst, but Square Enix had been pretty like aggressive about it in the past. But they have kind of like really changed course. They have like a much better approach now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like movie releases where they have like the game release happens, it's not available, soundtrack's not available anywhere. Then they might sell like the cool physical version.
Right.
And there's a window where like that's the only version is, and if you start uploading stuff to YouTube, they will like hit you with stuff.
Right.
Then it goes to like digital, and then they start to get a little bit more like lax with that, and then it's like on streaming services, and they're like, okay, we don't care what you do with it anymore. It's because it's everywhere. To the point where they even have a YouTube channel where they just upload the music on their YouTube channel too. Like, here's this here on YouTube anyway, because we're just to make it easy for you. If it's gonna be uploaded to YouTube eventually, when it's time that we're gonna allow it, we'll just do it ourselves,
Right.
and you just come
Get
to a
the
nice
ad revenue ourselves.
Yeah, so they've got it like figured out, and honestly, I think Nintendo would like really benefit from trying to take that approach because they have that kind of pull with their properties and their music. I think it comes from a place probably of they're still super protective. It's about their control.
Yes, it always is about that with them.
Yeah.
They are definitely very controlling. Gotta do it their way, or it's the highway with Nintendo.
Spotify's weird with that stuff too, because like I've noticed maybe it's just like searching with voice while I'm driving or whatever, but like it'll oftentimes play a cover instead of the real version, even if I know the real version is on Spotify. I assume because it's cheaper for them or some weird thing, but I'm just like, don't play the crap other version, play the real one, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This one's from RF Switch. Sort it out, Square Enix. Cracks knuckles and neck. So, we totally know that Foam Stars game is an NFT bullshit game, right? And that would be terrible on its own.
She's coming in to defend.
But to take a very well-loved and popular series like Splatoon, strip away all the good design, music, and personality of the game, rip off all the weapons and specials, and sell it off as some kind of competitor? The fuck happened to Squaresoft Enix of the 90s? What happened to the game makers who gave us legendary games after legendary game? As much as I love both companies, please, for the love of all things good, sort it the fuck out. P.S. This isn't just because I'm a Splatoon player. It's because Square Enix is far better than this. I mean, Square Enix is putting out a lot of good games.
And they've always put out a lot of crap. Like, it's kind of like the 80s where it's like, oh, the 80s music was so good. It's like, no, the 80s stations only play the good ones. Like, during the time, there was a lot of chaff, too.
Yeah.
Like, Square put out not great stuff the whole time.
I
Along
also
with the
think
bangers.
this is just like this specific example is just I'm chasing a trend.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
They've been doing this. I mean,
Yeah, I would extend this complaint to everybody. Like, because Fortnite did a cool battle royale, everyone else tried it. Because Splatoon did. I'm surprised it took this long for someone to try to ape Splatoon.
Yeah. It has taken a while. It's
Yeah.
been 3 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, Square Enix is also like some of this stuff is a little bit more egregious. Like they're throwing their support behind NFTs still.
Yeah, they got tons of mobile games.
And one of the last
whatever.
like
Square is definitely pretty shitty right now.
one of the last developers, like publishers, who's like their CEO is still on board with it. It's like everyone's like, really? Like, okay, you're gonna waste time with this, whatever that biogenesis thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry to bring up.
Anytime, yeah. Stop teasing me.
And yeah, like
Anytime somebody's still on board with NFTs, I'm like, you just don't understand what it is.
Wanting, like,
some
games
idiot
as a
told you it was
service.
cool. Yeah.
yeah, like Babylon's Fall, like that was a whole.
They definitely have a lot of
misfire.
misses, but they have a lot of great things too.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy 14 is a fucking excellent video game that's been consistently good for years.
No NFTs yet.
No NFTs.
Yet,
We got 16 right around the corner. Like Bravely Default 2 just came out, which I heard is excellent also. It's just like, with Square Enix, you're going to get bad and you're going to get good. That's just the way it is with that company. They're a massive company, so
what
they
I
have
love
a million
about
games.
what I love about Square though, and like other companies are kind of like this, but I feel like Square is the most like this, where it's things are either really good or really bad. Like there's very little in the middle. It's either like an excellent piece of artwork or a like shameless cash grab. I guess like Forspoken and stuff kind
Yeah,
of
there's
falls
stuff
in
in the
between.
middle. There was like
but-
the Geofield Chronicles and Valkyria Museum and stuff like that.
But I guess we really they take swings on both sides, I guess.
Oh yeah,
more
they're
than-
all over the place.
maybe-
yeah,
I mean, Konami
absolutely what they're
maybe is
doing
more,
with-
but-
yeah, and like Rebirth's like on the horizon. It's like
Yeah.
there's some good shit.
Oh yeah,
But
for
they do
sure.
a lot of bad stuff.
Casually dropping daily updates on Rebirth.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like on
Yeah, I was
Are they
like,
leading
wow,
up to
that's
Instagram or
something?
something.
Like, what
It's
are they
like,
doing?
oh, okay, cool.
Dude, yeah, Square is so wild, dude. I cannot predict ever what that
Unhinged
company's
Square,
gonna
let's
do.
go.
Yeah, they are so nuts.
I mean, I think your observation was right, where it's like 7 days from when they started doing that is SGF. Like,
Yeah.
are they announcing something?
Yeah,
The I mean, when they shadow drop the pixel perfect
Remasters,
remaster of Tactics on Thursday, it's gonna be pretty fucking sick.
that would be sick. Yeah, that'd be really sick.
Yeah.
Waiting for that. All right, and the last one's from Robert. Simple one. No more CG trailers.
Oh,
Sort it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of us would ever prefer a CG trailer for anything.
I like a good half and half. I like when
Sure.
something starts CG just to give you the mood and then switches to
full-
gameplay.
Full CG though is always
I mean,
like
I'll take what I can get.
yeah,
sometimes.
exactly. And I think it's different for certain games. Like
Yeah.
when you know it's something, or like CG trailers are not all equal.
Yeah.
Because like it's like CG trailer with a logo reveal.
Right. Like
Like we're talking Metroid Prime 4
right,
and shit.
or like Cyberpunk 2077, like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
The
yeah,
girl,
yeah.
like if it's like 8 years before the game is even possible to come out, like no,
Elder
fuck
Scrolls
off.
6.
Oh my god,
Which was like how many years ago? Was that like 4 years ago? And
At
it's like
least.
that game's like 5 years away.
was that 2019? Yeah, I don't know, but like something like the Talos Principle 2 trailer, which was recent,
Yeah.
which didn't have any, I think, gameplay in it at all, really. That one felt fine to me because it had a date on it, which is very important for a CG trailer, I think, and also it just kind of fits the vibe of that game. It's like you don't really need to see a first-person thing putting down a laser emitter, like. But yeah, I think generally.
Yeah, I think
you're
everyone
right.
prefers a gameplay trailer
Yeah, for
video
sure,
games,
for
especially.
sure.
Except maybe Jones. I don't know.
Yeah, Jones
I think he
awesome,
like,
dude.
but Jones has like a different. He like loves the art of.
Yeah,
the trailer.
he likes it as a short film.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the game as much.
All right, time for Keep It Up.
Ooh.
The exact opposite. You guys got anything? You're like, yeah. For you, I feel like it's just Diablo 4.
Oh
You're
my
just
God,
fucking
dude, like-
loving it.
We're snacking. This year is nuts. I keep
Yeah.
saying snacking, but it's true. Diablo 4 right
snacking.
now,
Snacking's fun.
Zelda,
Yeah.
Street Fighter 6, like keep it up.
Yeah. What about you, Dom,
Nuts. Also, keep it up with these good sequels.
Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma 2, Talos Principle 2, Alan Wake 2,
Oh.
dude.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out.
Keep it up. Yeah, I know we had like a not keep it up to Capcom, but to keep the going. I mean, shocked that Dragon's Dogma 2 gameplay was shown.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's on. Like it's coming.
up,
it's
dude.
it's
Dude,
like, yeah, we
like-
thought it was probably so much
Put
further.
5 or 6 currencies in that game.
No,
No, listen.
no,
Don't
no,
do
no,
that.
No.
This
Keep
they
it kind
will.
of shitty.
yeah.
Keep it kind of shitty.
That game better be an 8.5 at best.
I think it should be an 8.
Yeah.
Just a,
Oh yeah, at best an 8.5.
just an 8. If you're a 9, you've lost it.
Yeah, you fucked it up.
This is from Michael Tucker. Here we go. Keep it up. Capcom deserves major shout out for adding the modern control feature to Street Fighter
Oh
6.
yeah.
I love fighting games, but I am bad at them, so picking one up in many ways felt like a waste of money. With the addition of modern controls, I am able to get into Street Fighter 6 unlike any fighting game before, and even hold my own online. Making the controls more accessible is only good for the health of the genre, and I feel like eventually it'll be good enough to try, I'll be good enough to try classic controls. I hope other developers follow suit with this focus on accessibility. Keep it up, Capcom.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I wonder how that if it's like, you know, the ranked ladders, if anyone's using those or what's going on,
So,
like
but-
the higher rank ones.
Don't they?
I have no idea.
Specify or something.
I mean, I don't know how top players feel or any of them are using it or not, but I do believe for the Capcom
Cup?
tour and Capcom Cup, modern and classic are allowed.
Yeah,
Just the
yeah.
auto combo stuff is not allowed.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
got
believe.
it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I remember them specifically saying both are in there.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know if they're
which
going to
is-
segregate them, but I don't
Yeah, they
think
said
so.
both allowed, so I don't know if there's like it would be weird if they had like two different brackets or
That
something.
would be
I think
weird,
it's just
yeah.
everyone's
Yeah.
gonna be thrown together.
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
how
It's kind of an
evolves.
extension of the old pad versus a stick players argument where people thought if you didn't play with a fighting stick, you weren't serious. And then pad players started coming in and started winning stuff. It's like, who cares what you play on? So like, this is like, I think the next one. It's like, this still requires a degree of execution. So it's not like completely. Yeah, auto combos goes obviously too far. But
I just wonder about timing and how fast you can do inputs. Maybe.
I'm sure they balanced it. I don't. Yeah.
So yeah, if there's something that's not possible in one or the other, I'm assuming that like might cause Capcom have to like speak up. That came into play recently with those directional controllers. Like the argument of like down is up, or like it's something about like pressing down and up at the same time. Like it's not possible.
Yeah. I did hear about
this. But there's a type of controller that like it's
like a hit,
it's firmware lets it
something. Yeah, hitbox maybe.
And the Capcom like ruled against that, saying you can't do that anymore. But everyone else ruled it's okay. So yeah, there was some like controversy about that. But
I mean, I definitely think like picture someone who's like a genius at fighting games, like tactically, but like can't physically do classic inputs or whatever. Like I love that now they can compete. Like it's only good to like let everyone compete on the same level. It's only good, I think. As long as there's not some kind of weird cheesy advantage.
Yeah, if
they did the work to balance it. If they did the work to balance it, it's perfect.
Yeah,
that's on Capcom to make sure that they're the same.
This is from David Warren. VR versions of classic games, like how they recently announced The Seventh Guest and Bulletstorm. I love these remakes and think there are tons of potential out there. I would love a VR version of King's Quest or even CNC Renegade Command & Conquer. Adventure games especially seem perfect fit for VR, and I'd love to see it. Love and respect.
I think King's Field would be a good one, too.
Yeah.
Dude, that Seventh Guest looks... like, I love that game. I played that game so many times, and that VR... version looks way different. It's crazy. I'm excited. Hopefully you can teleport because I'm really excited to jump into that.
Yeah. All right, it's from Brandon K. Gann. Keep it up 2023 as a year for games. Well, there hasn't been many games that have appealed to me from the first half this year. It's undeniable how great of a year it is. Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Tron Identity are the only ones I've played so far. What's Tron Identity? I don't even know what that is.
It's like a visual novel.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Bithel.
Oh, that's what it was called. I heard about that. I didn't know that was...
It looked cool. I haven't had a chance. I'm wearing a Tron shirt right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it looked cool. But it's like a visual novel, basically.
Yeah. But being on the eve of Final Fantasy 16, I'm super hyped. I've watched full playthroughs of Resident Evil, or of the remakes of both Dead Space and Resident Evil 4. And then we're an amazing zeitgeist to the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Street Fighter 6, and Diablo 4, not to mention Spider 2 is a few months away.
God.
I'm excited for smaller things like Ghost Runner 2 and console ports of System Shock Remake and Wrath Aeon of Ruin, plus Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty is about to be shown off.
God,
Speaking of which,
Shock just came out too.
This paragraph doesn't even touch on Summer Game Fest and the Xbox plus Bethesda Showcase, just mere hours and days away, respectively, to get us excited for what's to come. Keep it up, 2023 gaming. You've been doing all right. Yeah, I'll say. 2023 has been a really good year.
Yeah.
I think this year's going to go down in history. And I do think it's like the post-COVID boom. Like,
sure.
All the stuff that was being worked on is like finally coming out, And it's just all hitting at the same time.
Yeah. All right, it's from D's Butts.
D's Butts.
Keep it up. Trying weird new things with licensed properties. I've seen so many snarky, who even asked for this responses to the new Gollum game, and the answer is me.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't really work out in this case, but I am much more interested in the concept of a weird little Gollum game than another Lord of the Rings game where you play as an Aragorn wannabe hacking and slashing a million orcs.
Hell yeah.
I hope these review scores don't keep devs from trying similar concepts in the future. Excited to hear your thoughts on Street Fighter and Diablo. Thanks, allies.
I totally agree. I love... Anytime something like this happens, I'm like, don't take the wrong message from this, right? Like if a movie fails or whatever, like, don't take the wrong message because of, like, the cast or something. Like, it may not be because of that. It might just be because the movie sucked. Like, same with Gollum. Don't take the lesson that we shouldn't try a weird Gollum game. We should just not make one that's different.
I wanna
not great.
I want a Lord of the Rings game where he plays the Nazgul hunting down hobbits and shit.
Dude, that'd be sick. That'd be
Just
awesome.
fly around and you gotta like track them down and
Just kill them all.
Yeah.
hobbits on roads. Sending the others to go and like grab them, like command orcs and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it,
Well, we'll
Brad,
talk about
but like, I think that Lord of the Rings is so huge, and there's so much opportunity for interesting side ideas, you know, that I think try it. Yeah, just make it good.
If it makes sense and it's actually good, then yes.
Yeah.
You can try it. I love weird ideas like that. Like the Gollum game, when they announced it, I was down because I thought it'd be fucking weird to play as Gollum.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, dude, but we'll talk about it.
There's
yeah.
there's parts of it that, well, we're doing it later.
Soon,
Okay,
yes. Yeah. But first, we got some shout outs as always. Some of our most generous patron supporters. That platinum producer tier. This month we got Jabbawabs, Elthanas, and Greg the Dark Knight Kettering. Thank you for supporting us.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out.
All right, so we talked about it. We were getting into it. I've been playing Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Oh yeah.
I played like 4 hours of this game.
Oh, Lord, you kept going. I forgot.
Yeah. This is not a good game.
No.
So I've played the patch version of this game. I
Yeah.
played the patch version, so I think
We
that
did for
fixed,
Trash Babies also.
I think it fixed a lot of the technical stuff that I've seen in this game because it wasn't. This game's ugly.
Oh my
It just
God,
like
yeah.
looks ugly and it looks
Yeah.
like a old game,
Yeah.
but it like didn't crash on me. The frame rate didn't dip or anything outlandish. No one's face was stretching 3,000 miles like Redfall for me. None of that
We
stuff.
had a crash during Trash Babies.
I think a problem with this game is it's just kind of boring. It's just kind of a boring game. So the game, so what I've been playing is the whole game, like Gollum's in prison, dude. So
Yeah.
Gollum is locked up in Mordor. They talk about the beginning, how he gets in there. It's like Gandalf talking to Gollum and interrogating about all that stuff. But you play,
I liked that. Like the
that's
conversation
fine.
was cool.
That's fine, yeah. Then you get into, Gollum's in this prison life, dude. You have like a daily thing. It's like days. So day starts. Gollum's got to do some shit like go collect dog tags or something like that. Then the day resets. That's kind of like the structure of the game so far. But I think so. There's platform in this game. A lot of it. It just doesn't feel great. Damiani, this reminds me of a licensed game from like the PS2 era.
He's
PS3
real
era.
floaty. Yeah.
It's very floaty. Stealth. The stealth is like super bad. It like
Oof, bad
it's
stealth.
just like. So here's what I was pumped about this game. The idea of it being in Gollum, bashing some dude with a rock or
Yeah.
something like that, nibbling on some guy's neck.
Yeah.
I think I like strangled one guy.
And the
that's
animation.
that's all you wanted, and you only got one of
The
them.
animation
4 hours.
sucks
That's
for it.
not
Yeah, in like 4 hours, dude. And it's like you get rocks time and you can throw like. There's barely been any stealth in the game so far, too. It's like a stealth game, but a lot of it's just Gollum jumping to stuff to like go light these barrels to blow up a cave or something like that. Like doing tasks for these orcs because he's like a prisoner makes sense. Hold up, though. We got to drive back. Story confusion here. Lore question here. I'm confused. Gollum gets interrogated by Sauron, okay? He is let loose by Sauron. That's how he gets out. But in this, he's put in jail again, and they're like, he has a mark where you can't kill him. So I'm like, why the fuck is he in jail?
Right.
I don't understand why Gollum's in jail, first of all, right
Wait,
now.
this is after Sauron let him out?
Yes, this is
Oh.
after Sauron interrogates him. I guess he'll let him out later again. I'm assuming. I'm just confused right now what's fucking happening.
What? That's so, because I was like, why pick the most boring part of Gollum's story? Like, Huber was saying in Trash Babies, start when he's Smeagol and show him murdering his friend, and then go into, like, finding the ring and the slow decline in the cave, and, like, you could come up with gameplay for that, and then, like, do the thing with Bilbo. Like, do the stuff. And not have him just, like, here's the part of the story where he's trapped in a cave for 7 years.
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like a lot of the game is leading up to him having a jailbreak kind of thing like that, or breaking out, and he's talking with like some people. One funny thing about this game, which I wanted from the game, is some instances you can side with Gollum or Smeagol.
Those parts were kind of fun.
So someone will ask you something like, who did this? Who is responsible? And if you're like Smeagol, you could do a little more malicious side, like you can blame. So there's one where you can like blame an orc or blame a
Gollum
human.
said, yeah.
And it's just like when you pick one, you have to convince the other side to do it. You have like a certain amount of tries for each thing. For like, you need to get 2 out of 3 for it to go through. And they ask you a question. So far, it's been pretty easy to like, oh, I would know exactly what that person would want to say. So it's been like, yeah, I could pick that. I haven't fucked up once yet. And I don't know how impactful some of the decisions you make are. If it really matters that much, I'm not sure. That's
I
like a
assume
whole
it
thing.
just plays a different
But here's the
cutscene.
thing is like, I don't fucking care. I don't want to do it. I don't want to dive into it because it's not very good yet.
Yeah.
I hate to burst your bubble, but I think it's not going to get better.
No.
Yeah, you say yeah.
I don't think I will make it until the end of this game, especially with all these games out right now. Like, if there's nothing to play, I'd probably just play it to do it, but there's not a lot. There's too much going on for me to give this game a lot of time, like, right now. But I'm just, like, bummed out. I'm like, why the fuck am I not strangling anyone yet? Why am I not nibbling on anyone's neck? Why am I not bashing people with rocks? It's just like, come on, man, Gollum's scrappy. Let me fuck some orcs up. It's like, it's taking way too long for me to break out of this prison, dude. Like, over 3 hours in the game, I'm still in prison doing dumb tasks. Like, I'm sneaking into somewhere maybe and getting a map, and it's like, okay, well, go back out now. And I'm meeting some characters, like the Candle Man. I'm like, all right, dude, here's this Candle Man guy in the tower. He's torturing people. And she's like, okay, I want to like this game more, but I just can't do it yet. You're not gripping me, dude. Everything's just kind of boring. Nothing feels great. What's happening?
Not what you want out of a
No, yeah.
games
It's
game.
not like... Thankfully, it's not a train wreck technically yet. Or it probably was earlier, but...
Yeah, I think they patched a lot of that.
Yeah, it's not great. It's just disappointing. I'm like, could have done something kind of fun here. Something weird. Like, I think the idea of selling a Gollum game on its own is super hard already to most people. Most people don't want to play as Gollum. Most people don't care. Most people want to play as an Aragorn type character and fuck orcs up or something like that. I thought playing with Gollum was cool and weird, but it's just like, you haven't gotten there yet. You're not selling on me. The story is not selling me on it enough, so I want to keep playing to seal this jailbreak. I'm not stoked about any of the things I'm doing. Like, I'm doing these platforming sections, and Gollum just feels fucking weird. Like, jumping in and like...
It doesn't help that the game looks like it came out in 2008. Like,
It does look old.
the graphics are perplexing, but like perplexing and inconsistent. Like Gollum himself, his face looks like Psychonauts 1, and he's always out of focus. Like in a lot of the, it's
a
like
lot of the scenes
trying to do depth
really
of field.
weird and
yeah,
stitched together. Nothing like a lot of stuff is just not smooth.
It's really weird.
Where it just has like weird jumps. I'm just like, what's happening with this game, dude? Bob Starling wrote in. I've been a huge Lord of the Rings fan since I was a kid, and my dad introduced me to the books. We went to see the movies when they came out, and I have just devoured every bit of Lord of the Rings content since. With such a rich world and lore, you would think it would be ripe for video game adaptations. However, since Shadow of War games, there has been precious little in the gaming space for this legendary IP. Needless to say, I was excited to hear about a video game telling a story of Gollum between Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Until now, we've only gotten secondhand accounts of what he was up to in the books, so this seemed like it could be an interesting story to tell. Unfortunately, things have gone sideways with this Gollum game, and now I worry that a Lord of the Rings game being known as the worst game of the year could lead to a fewer opportunities for video game adaptations in Middle-earth. What do you think the odds are that we get another high-profile Lord of the Rings game? And what other IPs do you think have received such poor adaptations that harms the prospect of getting more in the future? Sorry for the long post, love and respect, allies. Well, embrace your group spent a fuck ton of money to get the Lord of the Rings IP, so I think you're going to get more for sure.
That's the good news and the bad news. That so many people own so many slivers of Lord of the Rings that they're all going to try to milk their little piece of the pie.
Amazon's doing another MMO, a new one.
For all that it's worth,
for Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings Online's still going, also with new content. I think people enjoy that game.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that game's old.
I liked Rings of Power, but I know you didn't. But
I was entertained.
Oh, okay.
But I did not like it as someone who likes the lore.
Yeah, right.
So, but
I'm just a casual
I respect the
when it
budget.
comes
Yeah,
to
that's
Lord of
fine.
the Rings.
There's
I'm
nothing
just
wrong
like,
with
Galadriel's
that.
cool.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
like elf guy and his cool girlfriend. Like, yay.
There's nothing wrong with that. But, I mean, I think some back to the other Lord of the Rings games. I know a lot of people like the Two Towers and Return of the King game. I liked the Third Age game.
Oh.
It was a turn-based RPG.
Whoa.
The story's like, whatever, dude. You're like following the Fellowship with your own like fellowship. It's fucking goofy.
Weird.
You, like,
What?
fight like a Balrog. I'm like, what? But it was just turn-based combat in Lord of the Rings, so it was cool.
That's interesting.
And like Shadow of Mordor and was like a decent start, and Shadow of War was like all right. They really needed to do a third one after that game ended, but
I love how pissed Blood is about Shelob just being a lady
oh man,
instead of a spider. He's so pissed about it.
Don't watch Rings of Power Blood. He'll be furious. All right, it's from Joey Traverso. Hey, allies. I hear the Gollum game has a plethora of issues, including design, graphics, and performance. However, besides that, I have to ask you, do you think there's a way to make a fun game where you play as Gollum? Even as a massive Lord of the Rings fan, I'm struggling to think of ways to translate Gollum as a character to fun gameplay mechanics. He mostly walks on all fours, gets beat up, and occasionally kills someone for his precious. He doesn't exactly sound like the most thrilling video game protagonist, especially compared to, say, a powerful wizard or an archer. But what do you think? How could you go about making a fun Gollum game? Make it most of it stealth, where you're actually taking dudes out as Gollum. Gollum's a little shithead that can kill things.
Yeah. I think you make it like Hellblade. You make it dark and gross. You lean into his psychosis. So, like, you can't tell what's real and what's not, but just like he can't. Have the voices, have the influences like that. Make it really stealth heavy. Make it maybe he has to have like a survival meter, like he has to eat. So occasionally you have to like kill something to eat it. And like, yeah, maybe the story is like some orc or something got the precious or something and he's chasing them, whatever. Like make it simple, make it like, and also I think it could be like a 6-hour game, you know, just make it really dark, like hard R Lord of the Rings Gollum game where he's like literally mentally ill and struggling with it and has to eat fish and spiders and ants and like making deals with Shelob and like, you could do so much crazy shit.
I feel like Shelob stuff will probably come into play later in this
Yeah,
Gollum
yeah,
game.
yeah.
It's just like, I don't know if I want to even bother getting there.
I'm just saying, like, there's so much to Gollum. Like, and also, like, you could do really cool stuff with his subjective view of things. Like, maybe he meets Gandalf, and Gandalf looks like horrifying to him, like huge and imposing and like glowing or something, you know, like you could do his subjective view of like everything. It could be like painterly and weird and crazy, like, and all based on his like, yeah, fractured mind. Like I think you could do sick ass shit and it would be fun.
Yeah, there's like hints of it in this Gollum game, and I appreciate that they like the decision making, what side to do, like Smeagol or having Gollum say something.
I like that
I think
idea,
that's cool,
yeah.
but it just hasn't been really effective yet. But yeah.
I was thinking about this while we were talking about this. I honestly wonder if the modding community could take this Gollum game and make it good.
Yeah.
Like, could they take
Probably.
it and do something to it to
Probably.
make it interesting?
Yeah, probably. All right, it's time for some emails. If you want to send an email, head on over to patreon.com/easyallies. Join up there, $5 and up. You get to send in questions to this show, the Easy Allies podcast, reaction shots, all that good stuff. And like when we do spoiler modes and stuff like that. So hop on over there. We greatly appreciate the support. All right, this is from Hear the Sphere. Hey, allies. I have a fairly simple question, but perhaps not so easily answered. What's the difference between a remake and a remaster?
Oh God. Here we go.
I'd like to point to just a few games that make it confusing for me. On one hand, you have the Demon Souls and the Shadow of the Colossus remakes by Bluepoint. The graphics are completely redone, and there are some quality of life updates such as improvements to the controls, but very little of the actual design was changed. And then on the other hand, you have Metroid Prime Remastered by Retro. Again, the graphics are completely redone, and there are some quality of life updates such as improvements to the controls, but very little of the actual design was changed. Obviously, there are cases where the distinction is much more obvious, such as Final Fantasy VII Remake, but other times, like in the example I illustrated, it becomes more blurry. What do you think? This is a question that no one has a definitive answer on because there is no exact thing for it. A remake is so many things.
Yeah.
So my impression of a remaster of how it first started was like the God of War collection that kind of kicked off the whole remaster craze from what I remember.
It's just an up-res.
The up-res and higher frame rate of the game.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, you make it run better and look better.
But now when you're talking about new assets and like changing gameplay stuff significantly or building the game from the ground up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Demon Souls and Shadow of the Colossus are very similar to the original games, you know. It's very similar to the first design, but Final Fantasy VII Remake's like, we're not just remaking the game, we're remaking like everything.
It's a requel.
Yeah.
I would make that distinction basically where it's like, because really it's immaterial, like it's degrees, it's a percentage of things maybe would kick it into a remake, but like I think it's the spirit of the bet kind of like Demons, like if their endeavor is to make it feel the way it felt to play it when it first came out, like Dead Space or Demon Souls or whatever, and like they're adapting to modern quality of life gameplay stuff like 8-directional rolling and stuff, and updating the graphics, I would call that, you could call it whatever you want, really. It's like a remaster, I guess. But a remake, it's funny because Final Fantasy VII Remake is a remake, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
From like
I like changed my own mind halfway through saying that.
Yeah.
But
I usually just do it by like, hey, are you remaking the assets of the game? Are you
Right.
starting from the ground up kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you literally remake it, or did you just input some new textures?
I feel like there's 3 tiers to this.
Yeah.
There's like up-res, like the, like I would say, like, you know, God of War remastered, like the early one, like like that's like where you're just like taking the original game, improving how it looks, and potentially some quality of life updates. That's like that's remaster. Yeah. And then you have like remake, which is like the game is like in a completely like different like engine, and or they're like actual structural / design changes on top of like the visual improvements. Final Fantasy VII Remake is that because it went from a different type of like hybrid pre-rendered like 3D model game to a completely full world 3D game. So like that's, you have to like that's a remake. And like I think it's a little bit easier now because we're now in a world where we have RE4 remake, where it was like the gap between the two is not as big. So it's like it wasn't like a Shadow of the Colossus or Demon Souls situation where it just looks prettier. Mm-hmm. They actually made content changes to that.
Yeah.
So like that really set, like that to me is like the prototypical remake is now. And then RE1 remake for GameCube. Mm-hmm. Like that's one. And then there's like the in-betweens where it is like completely like different, you know, like visually it's like completely overhauled. They've done quality of life, and then like they add like more like content and features to it, and you get like a little weird there. It's like it is a remaster, but like they've added extra stuff that wasn't maybe in the original game. And it's not just like, oh, controls have been changed. It's like significantly added stuff, and like I wonder, you know, like do we have like a term for that? Like I would still put those all as like like Ocarina of Time 3D. I'd still put that as like a remaster.
I'd say
or enhanced. I'd call it enhanced. Like there's the basic remaster, which is like where I would put something like Shadow of the Colossus, Demon Souls, where it's like it is literally just visuals, put some quality of life. Anything that goes beyond that, but it's still pretty much close to the spirit of the original, like I just add the word enhanced in front of it. Enhanced remaster.
Or to keep the messaging, maybe it's remaster, remake, reimagining. Because it's like, to me, Final Fantasy VII is a reimagining. It's a remake and a reimagining. So it's like, it's a remake plus, because they're changing it.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII made everything way more confusing.
Yeah, RE2, 3, and 4 are almost that, like, because they do, like you said, they're in a completely new engine. They're new everything. I would say 2 and 3 are a little more close to the original, and 4 like is almost a reimagining. Like I feel like there has to be that third higher tier of, because it's a new game.
And then it's also funny because I think developers and publishers don't think like we do sometimes.
Sure.
They think like if it's simple as like even if you like the graphics engine is different, we're remaking the game.
It's a
This is a
remake,
new
yeah,
graphics engine.
yeah.
Even if it's the same exact game as the original game, but brand new visuals. Like, we didn't take the original textures and like models. We made new ones. It's like they
Right.
call that a remake, even if it's literally 1-to-1 the same. Like,
That's why I think
so it's like, yeah.
you take it literally. Remaster is we just up-resed it. Remake is we remade it in a new engine. So that would include Demon's Souls, Shadow of the Colossus, whatever. Even though it's close to home, it's a remake literally. And then reimagining is like we did that and we changed
Yeah.
it.
Remaster for me was like one thing mostly. In remakes, there's like 3 versions of
Yeah.
what it could be, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just
We'll
it's
figure it out.
awesome
It's a case-by-case basis.
because the original doesn't go away, so it's only good usually.
Yeah, if the original doesn't go away, it's good.
I just like putting years next to games now.
Yeah.
So it could be
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's true.
his 2019 version of this or
Right.
like original or two. So yeah.
But yeah, this is a question that will go on for a long time. That people will never
Oh, I
agree
thought you
on
meant.
it.
I thought you meant the next email.
Hear
I
the
was like, it doesn't
sphere.
look that
No, hear the
long.
sphere's question.
Yeah.
It's something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
will probably never be solidified. This is from Bam514. Hi, allies. I've been checking out Blasphemous since Eric Williams of God of War Ragnarok fame mentioned it in Huber and Brad's interview. As somebody who's not too familiar with the Metroidvania games, this game impresses me with how approachable it is. I think it's mainly because of the great map system. It's easier to remember what I've done and where I've been because the game keeps track of it so well. My question, do you guys have any examples of games that are an approachable first step for newcomers to that game genre? And what makes the game so approachable? My other example would be the newest Samurai Showdown, which is a phenomenal fighting game for beginners.
Were they talking about Blasphemous?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's what... that's like the first like Metroidvania they thought was good to get into for them. So I guess any examples of games are an approachable first step for newcomers to that genre.
Yeah. I think Portal's a good entry level for like 3D first person puzzle games. Because like after Portal, you could get into Talos and all that kind of stuff.
I think Hades a good one for roguelite.
Oh yeah,
I think they got
Hades
a
is
lot of people in.
great
I think that's
roguelite
all- yeah,
example.
I think it's
yeah,
a great example.
for
Damiani.
sure. I think like RTSs. I think what's a good first RTS? Maybe like Foundation or one of those that's more just about survival.
Sure.
There's another. Oh, what was that one called? Can't remember.
Can't remember.
Dungeon Village, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a shooter would be a good first shooter for someone to get into. Nowadays, I don't know. Seems like everyone just starts the Call of Duty now.
Yeah.
Maybe
So maybe Call of Duty
Wolfenstein?
is.
Remember Mystic Quest?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
an entry level RPG.
Yeah, baby RPG for
people
North
who-
America. Yeah, I remember.
We want you to get an RPG.
I definitely thought of that when I was reading this question because that was the purpose of that game. All right, this is from LEL. Hey, allies. First, I want to say congratulations to Isla and Sophia for their engagement.
Thanks.
I wish you all the best, and I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
Now then, lately people have been talking about how Square Enix is worried about. People have been talking about how Square Enix is worried about Final Fantasy 16's pre-order numbers being lower than Final Fantasy 15's.
Oh.
But should pre-order numbers even matter anymore or be counted at this point? Besides the fact that FF16 is console exclusive and 15 is multi-platform. I, for one, usually buy such pre-order my games and download them the night before the release, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm positive companies aren't blind to this fact, so why do they worry over pre-order numbers? Any light you could shed would be appreciated. Thanks for all you do, love and respect.
I think that
Square, I didn't even know Square was worried about
So,
pre-order
yeah,
numbers.
they always have ridiculous expectations.
Oh, that's true.
Came from do your thought first.
Well, I was
and
just
I'll
gonna
give
say
context to this.
wish lists for indie games and pre-order numbers for big games is just a good litmus test for developers to gauge general interest. I think you hit the nail on the head that it being not multi-platform, it probably accounts for a lot of that.
Sure, yeah.
But it's just a good indicator of interest because it's probably, I don't know the percentage, but there's probably some metric that somebody knows where it's like, oh, 30% of your fan base will wishlist or pre-order or 10% or whatever it is. And then you can extrapolate from there to approximate sales. I think that's part of why they pay attention to that kind of stuff. And it just helps fund development sometimes, I think, too, like Kickstarters.
Yeah. So the Japanese interview. And it was like pre-orders about like week 1 sales. I was talking about like sales in Japan, how like it's usually like a slower burn there. Like it lasts over more weeks. Where here it's kind of like the first month huge, then most things
done.
are done.
Yeah.
And it was tracking behind Final Fantasy 15 and also Final Fantasy 7 Remake. But obviously, like as Isla pointed out, there are some circumstantial things here that need to be considered. Besides, like 16 is a console exclusive to PlayStation 5, which has only in the last few months become more readily available.
That's true.
Japan had a lot of concerns about it being PS5 exclusive because it was so hard to get. So you're going against something where Final Fantasy 15, which came out on PlayStation 4, which had a pretty big install base at the time, and was multi-platform, so it wasn't just PlayStation 4, it was like on everything. So you can't compete there. Final Fantasy 7 Remake also technically was console exclusive at the time as well for PS4. Again, a bigger install base, but Remake is like
way later.
Also, Remake is like one of the most anticipated. Like, the Final Fantasy Remake was like one of the most anticipated things from like Final Fantasy and RPG.
It's like a life-changing event.
Yeah. So and 15 had its own bag of like baggage of a 10+ year like cycle of like and all its history and stuff. So there were very unique circumstances with this.
Well, and I do wonder too, like how much 15's reception impacts pre-orders of this, even though they're completely separate games. And I do think word of mouth will probably be really powerful for 16 because 15 I never really played too much of it, but I gathered that people weren't thrilled. But this one I feel like people will hopefully be. I mean, judging, I've only seen trailers, but like it looks crazy. So I'm thinking maybe it'll have longer legs than 15. But
yeah, I think the perception might be that in Japan that 15's reception to it kind of the IP took a bit of a hit. I mean, globally, it seemed like Remake was very well received and people are mostly happy with it. So, but that's also a remake. So, like the mainline sequels, there might have been some concern, like, oh, Remake's safe because like it's like the best, like one of their most popular, the most popular games. So how like we that's okay, and that will do fine. But what else about all the other ones? So you do have like the 15 reception plays into this, but also 16 going in such a different direction with like the real-time combat system not really having obviously no more turn-based, so they've been moving away from that. They're them being upfront about like there's not really a party system in this game. Like it just looks different and it's presented as a different type of Final Fantasy.
Is this one mature too?
I think so.
I don't remember.
It's definitely going in a different direction. So I've been seeing the narrative from people who are like, this isn't my Final Fantasy or whatever. I'm just not into this, and so you have a little bit of that battle too.
I feel like we get that a lot with Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Every time one comes out, my Final Fantasy.
I think you're right though. I think I hope that like word of mouth, if it ends up being good, that people say, hey, you should probably try this out. So I don't worry about its sales in the long run, but I have no delusions that probably in its like first month or it's gonna like outsell either 15 or 7 Remake. It won't be like the fastest selling like Final Fantasy in the series. Right. But I do think it will, hopefully, if it's good, it will achieve, sales goals that like the internally they're probably hoping for it to hit. It's just gonna take some time.
Whoever is setting those metrics internally at Square, I think needs to get different advisors or something, because like their expectations seem to always be way too high.
Yeah.
Remember when they said they wanted to dethrone Fortnite or whatever, like with the Ultimate game? Or no, that was Sega maybe. But like,
I mean, they've said similar
disappointed,
stuff.
with
like,
their expectations.
Forspoken was a whole bag of like disappointment sales wise for them. Like,
so I feel like as a general rule, Square should just like decrease all their expectations by 15%.
Yeah. I don't know what their internal expectations are, but to like be saying, like, I would maybe read this interview. Obviously it's a translated interview, but like my best guess would be also consider that like any director of a movie or creator or something, like it's just a little bit of jitters too. It's like I hope this does well. Like like I could see it, maybe not, but like I really hope it does well. Like I wouldn't take it as like they definitively know like it's like not hitting any kind of expectations. But also
sometimes like in interviews, especially translated interviews, like maybe they're just being humble, and it doesn't get translated. True. It gets translated literally instead of just like, oh, it didn't sell great,
Yeah.
Like, maybe they were just saying that, who knows?
Yeah. I'm also very interested to see. I mean, maybe it'll come out in Discovery of the Activision Blizzard stuff at some point. But like the exclusivity deal for the console, like how much Square Enix got from Sony.
Yeah.
And if that really is worth it compared to having a giant multi-platform everywhere day one, because this. I think that did hurt 7 Remake in terms of what it could have possibly been. Such a hype anticipated event, PlayStation only. It's like, dude, if this was on everything, like this would have been even bigger. Like, why would you hamstring one of like the biggest moments by like putting? I like that would have been a big payday from like Sony.
Oh yeah,
like,
I do wonder.
yeah.
Like it has to be like multiple millions of dollars. Because like, think about all Xbox sales. If that sold like even 1 million copies on there, 1 million times 60 or whatever.
Like minus whatever.
Minus
whatever. Or whatever. It's like
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's
still,
like even
it's
if they
still a lot of
really like make like half or less, it's like
It'll make
30 million.
It'll
it's
make
like,
a lot less.
for 1 million
Yeah.
copies. They had to, it's something to consider. I also think like it being exclusive to Epic for a while, not being on Steam,
of
also
course.
hurt
They
the
got a chunk
PC.
of cash for
Like
that, too.
hopefully that doesn't go around this time.
I do know
with 16. If when it comes to PC, whatever,
Yeah.
blah blah.
I've heard from some indie devs that like being on Game Pass like paid for the development of the game entirely.
Sure,
Yeah, sure.
So it's like sometimes it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Sometimes it makes sense.
But
Sometimes it might not.
If it makes sense or comes close to making sense, I someone said this to me, and I think I kind of agree with them. Internal people at Square Enix shouldn't be complaining then about sales expectations. It's like you already got paid.
Right.
It's like even if it's like a little behind a goal, is it really that bad? Like you're gonna make more money on top of that, and like you chose to be console exclusive. So if
Yeah.
you wanted more sales to like kind of like tout the big numbers, then why did you take an exclusivity deal to kind of
I mean, unless they
Yeah.
needed to take an exclusivity deal to like pay for the game, like if there were budget problems and they needed the cash inflow,
sure. Like this is the business decision that might have happened.
40% in, they're like, shit, we need $20 million. Like, fine, we'll be exclusive if you pay for it.
Even if they didn't need it, some business people are like, why would I pass up? Like, you're
Right.
gonna pay me
Free
for this.
money. For
we
a
have the
year?
money to do this, but yeah, give me the money. Fine.
And I mean, honestly, like if it's an exclusive window, which I think 16 probably is,
It'll be on PC at least.
Yeah.
Probably in
Yeah.
a year or so.
then you could pretty much have your cake and eat it too. Like you get paid X million for a year, and then you get Y million minus 15% of the people who would have got it on day one that are pissed or something. Like it's probably not even that big of a hit.
yeah, it's just going back to like what's on PC. Like I do think again revisiting it being an Epic exclusive like 7 Remake. Yeah, it's such a like probably a poor decision because like Persona going on Steam.
Oh, yeah,
that
huge.
exploded.
Yeah.
Like,
7 did come to Steam.
It
but
did eventually,
it
but
did,
I think
not
that
right
was
out
a
the
problem.
gate. Yes.
Whereas like Royal Edition 15, came when it came to Steam. I think that was a big deal. Like like
But
people
that
waiting
might
for that. Yeah.
you might have just proved their point right because they get to basically have another launch day by bringing it to Steam 2 years later. Right? They get to drum up all the hope. They get to call it the Royal Edition. They get to do all the. They get to.
Well, also
do the fanfare.
So it was like the 60 frames update.
Royal Edition.
Yeah,
But people,
yeah.
like that 15 specifically, people are very interested to see how it looked on like PC.
But I just mean like in general, like if you do you get a second launch day if you bring it to Xbox
Sure.
and Steam a year or two later.
yes,
Maybe it's better in the long run.
I'm just specifically saying when they did that,
Yeah.
they did an extra layer of delay where it was
Right.
Epic first and then even further delay first.
I see.
You can't do that
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
Like
no,
that
yeah.
was a bad move.
Yeah.
Like they
Sure.
can't repeat that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think Kingdom Hearts still isn't on Steam.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it's
only on
Epic
Epic.
only still.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
That one
I didn't know
is
that. That's wild.
I think that's really hurting that too.
I don't know what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Epic, I bet pays well.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Again, it pays well, but like to me, it's like prestige, like IP value and brand and like awareness.
Yeah.
It's being, you got paid, but like the brand is like just not being, it's not, people aren't like paying attention to it. Whereas it was like on Steam, whatever, like a lot of discussion, like what happened with Persona. I mean, Persona is like it was huge, but coming to PC was like a whole giant ordeal.
Definitely.
That was like massive for them. And it was the old game. It wasn't even a new game. It was like,
Yeah.
this is a big deal. And they kind of like Final Fantasy kind of didn't have that moment.
Well, that was before it was even on consoles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Persona 4 on there, so that helped a lot.
That's
sure.
probably
'Cause it was
true.
Just on Vita, the gold version.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just like better quality of life, like Steam Deck and everything. Like I think probably can make Epic run on it, but I doubt that these big wigs care about user experience all that much.
All right, that's gonna do it for this episode of Frame Trap. We are all done. So many games to play. We got a busy week coming up for us, dude.
Bonkers.
Summer Game Fest.
Bonkers
so it'll
week.
be fun. So please stay tuned for all that good stuff. And until next time, we'll see y'all later. Take care.